the number one secret in terms of how to actually accumulate wealth, especially when you don't even have any money to start off with. And the secret behind it is leverage. And I'm going to show you how to actually leverage money to make more money and how the rich do it. And they've been doing it for thousands and thousands of years. Let's get into it. When it comes to learning, there's nobody ahead and nobody behind. I don't believe I was born with all the skills. I don't believe I was born confident. But what I do know is that if I decide that I'm gonna go in on something, I'm either gonna go big or I'm gonna go home. So today we're talking about the importance of leverage when it comes to accumulating wealth or even building wealth in the first place. And actually, I was very fortunate because from a very, very young age, my father actually taught me some principles, being an entrepreneur himself. He taught me actually how to actually leverage money to actually make money, which is a concept that most people don't actually learn in school. And we just learn how to get a job and work hard at the job, and hopefully one day we get a job, and hopefully one day when we're old we get to retire. But I'm sure you guys who are watching this video right now, that is not your dream. Your dream may be greater than that. Maybe you want to create financial freedom for yourself. Maybe you value money. Maybe you want to create a whole empire. Maybe you want to be a millionaire or billionaire. And the most important thing to understand is the power of leveraging money. What does this mean? If we look at, let's say, the most successful entrepreneurs out there today, right? Even if we look at the Richard Bransons or the Elon Musks or all the different successful entrepreneurs, they all still leverage money. If you look at even Warren Buffett, multi-billionaire, why is it still till today he's still pitching for money for people to invest in his portfolio? Why would a multi-billionaire need that? And so we need to look at the game of wealth. If all of these successful people are doing it, and we're playing this game of wealth also, but in a different way, we're probably slaving away at a job, or whenever we have some money, we say, save money for a rainy day, and don't buy what you can't afford. That's a total different mentality. And how we can actually look at this is on that term of understanding success leaves clues, right? It's very powerful. If you look at all the most successful entrepreneurs out there, all the wealthiest people out there, if you look at read all of their autobiographies, you'll find that they all started with no money. And they all played a game of leverage to actually build up that capital. They didn't say, okay, I need to make X amount of sales to be able to start my business. They were saying, I don't have the money. How do I find the money? So the first thing is start with a shift of mindset. Don't let money stop you from making money. This is what a great mentor of mine said many years ago. Don't let money stop you from making money. If there's an opportunity, your question to yourself is, how do you go out and grab it? When I started my first business, I was only 21 at the time. I didn't have money to start it, but I had to leverage. I leveraged off 5 banks and maybe like 5 credit cards or something to finally pull together 400,000+ pounds to actually start that business. And people look at me today and say, you got lucky, right? I always say there's no such thing as reward without risk. But you need to understand one simple principle that I'm going to share with you right now, which is something that my father shared with me when I was very young. When I was growing up, my dad used to have a restaurant business. And I remember the first time I was old enough to go to a bank manager meeting with him. And he said, yeah, just come along. It was after school. And then I remember going into the car and then I said, Dad, where we're going? And he said, we're going to have a meeting with the bank manager. And I said, oh, why? And he said, oh, we're going to borrow money. And it's so weird how a young kid can already have in their head, it's like, borrow money? It's like, why are you borrowing money? Are we running out of money? Are we like, what's going on? You know, what's the problem? And then Dad was laughed and he said, no, you borrow money for business. And I said, borrow money for business, what does that mean? And he said, that's how you do business. And I said, okay, I just accept it anyway. So we went, got the money, then he opens his restaurant, then he starts bringing in money and customers and revenue. And everything's fine and well until like 6 months later. Then I'm in the car with him once again. And I said, Dad, where we're going? And he said, we're going to see Ian again. And I said, the bank manager? He said, yeah. And I said, why? And he said, we're going to borrow money. And I said, what? I said, did you lose all the money from last time? What's going on? He said, no. That's the game you play. It's the game of leverage. And what he taught me back then is what I'm going to pass on to you right now. He said, you look at it like this. A lot of people today, they're either spenders or they're savers. Most people aren't really investors, right? And even the ones that are investors, they usually only think about investing what they have. If you really look at it, investing what you have takes forever to become rich. Think about it. You can be working in a job right now. Maybe it's paying you 1,000, 2,000. Let's say it's paying you 3,000, right? Like if you ever wanted to invest in anything big, like let's say you want to invest in Facebook or you want to invest in Apple or any big projects, which is in the millions, think about it. Every month, how much can you actually put together? And how long will it take you to actually get the money together to finally invest in these big projects? As horrifying as it sounds, it will actually never happen. Think about it. You do your own calculation. You know how much is left over at the end of every month, right? So if you look at all track history of all wealthiest people, they all use the same method in terms of leverage. How do you leverage off 3 different avenues? 1, friends and family. 2nd, bank, right? Banks. 3rd, investors. How do you find investors? How do you pitch for investment? And so one simple principle that he taught me back then, he said, if you look at it like this, and this is how he explains to a kid, and I'm explaining it in the same way to you guys, okay? So he said, if you take £100,000, let's say $100,000, okay, easier, more international for you guys to understand. So if you take $100,000, and he said, if we can either look at a house to buy, which the house is worth $100,000, which today you won't be able to buy many houses, okay? It probably won't be very fancy or anything. You can buy one, and you can buy one and you can choose to live in it, right? Which most people do. They say save for that. But then instead of that, if we look at leverage, let's say, for example, banks today, maybe you can leverage putting 20% down or 30% down. Then literally, if we were to put 20% down into a house, if each house is 100K, how many houses can we actually buy with the 100K? It's not buying one house. You split it all into 20,000, you're talking about buying 5 houses. So think about it this way. For the same 100,000 capital investment, you can either have 5 houses or 1 house. My question to you is, what do you rather? Now, you could argue the point and say, no, but that's wrong because you owe a lot of debt by owning those houses, right? But actually, what is debt? This is what Robert Kiyosaki always talks about when he talks about the difference between good debt and bad debt. Good debt is what brings in monthly passive income. Bad debt is something that doesn't bring in. So you're getting debt to actually pay for a holiday that doesn't bring in any money. But if you can create cash flow for yourself, that is eternal for yourself. That's the financial freedom you want. Think about it. Who cares how much capital you have in a bank if you're not enjoying it? But what do you enjoy from? You enjoy from cash flow, right? So the whole thing about, even if you look at Elon Musk today, right? You can watch the reports and everything. You don't know how many millions or even billions now he's in debt. Now you're probably thinking, how can someone like Elon Musk be in debt? Because it's all about the debt game, right? Countries are in debt. Think about it that way. So actually, debt is not like doomsday, like everybody sees it as like, oh, it's the worst thing that happens. There's something with good debt and bad debt. If you know how to borrow, you know how to leverage and create cash flow, actually, that is the game of the wealthy. That's why the wealthy keep playing that same game and getting wealthier and wealthier. And the poor keeps getting poorer because they don't understand that simple concept. So guys, I'm going to leave you with that today. Otherwise, we'll talk about money and wealth all day long. But if you enjoyed this topic and you want to learn more about this and how to actually leverage, where to leverage, how to pitch to investors, how to negotiate, all these different things, whatever you want to learn, type it in the comments below. If there's enough demand, I'll create a video to share that with you guys. And also, if you enjoyed this video, please do hit the thumbs up. If it's been of any value to you whatsoever, please hit the like button. And finally, if you're new to this channel and you haven't already, remember to hit that subscribe button and the notifications button next to it. That's a little bell sign, by the way, because this year I'm dedicated to making daily videos to hold you accountable to make it your best year yet. But for now, guys, we're rolling out into asana practice. I'll see you guys on the other side. Okay, we lost the beats on the way. Guys, last week, I don't know what happened. I didn't see you guys tags. Where's your YogiLamboChallenge tag? I'm trying to find you on Instagram. You guys better be practicing hard on these asanas, okay? We put so much effort into this. I'm gonna show you the extension from last week now. This is where it starts looking fun, okay? Let me just remove this first. And by the way, if you guys aren't part of our Creator Circle Plus, make sure to join our Creator Circle Plus, because every week we're actually practicing live yoga with everybody, teaching people yoga for manifestation. It's very powerful, okay? So last week, if you remember, we were talking about once you free up the energy points that's in your feet, on your legs, we then move on the inversions, lifting the legs up. You probably remember. Then after lifting the legs up, it's about bringing the legs down and opening up also the back and the sides. I don't know if you remember, okay? Now, from there, then it's opening up and then lifting straight again. This is the move, you guys, I'm gonna challenge you guys to do for next week and see who's the winner for next week. So we put our palms down and legs are straight, feet are out, and on 3, 2, 1, we jump into lower plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog, and then we finish. Okay, maybe you guys want to see it one more time. I'll show you very quickly, okay? So once we're back, down, feet, palms are down, 3, 2, 1, bounce. Lower plank, hold, up dog, down dog, and then walk out, okay? So guys, that's this week's asana practice for you, asana challenge. So again, those of you who are doing these practices and you want to join in the challenge and join in the movement of practice and just help spread the message further, then make sure on Instagram or on Facebook or even on our Creator Circle group in Facebook, you can use the tag YogiLamboChallenge. You'll see it here now, okay? So YogiLamboChallenge, as long as you put that tag on, we'll be able to see who the best asanas, who's doing the best asanas, and we're going to feature you in next week's Yogi with a Lamborghini, which is every Thursday. Other than that, you guys can check out the other videos, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye for now. Namaste.